And I think we're live again.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Oh dear.
Apologies.
You try something new and you find the errors. That's fine. That's part of the game, isn't it?
It blows up in your face. Tonight for everyone, we're also streaming live to Facebook. I nearly said YouTube, but we're already on YouTube. So we had a bit of a technical issue between the two of them, but it seems all good now. Seems all good. So there we go, basically.
Cool, good. Nice to be back another week. It always goes so quickly. I feel like the day after we do the show, it's like 6 days until the next one, and start thinking about it, and then before you know it, you're like shit. It's like, I suppose that's a good thing at the moment.
Yeah, it's normally like 20 minutes before the show, and I'm like, oh, not really. No, I'm always like, yay. It's an hour before the show. I'm like, oh, and then I have to put my game face on, or my game is, So, for anyone who caught when we went live on Facebook, I was saying about how I find, I don't know, people can comment and let us know, sitting like this when I'm wearing a hoodie, like tucked behind my ears, I find it very comfortable. I know it looks ridiculous. I look like a bit of an odd person, literally like a Mr. Potato Head without the arms and legs. But yeah, I think it's really comfortable. I don't know about you two. If you do this or have you tried it before?
I've not tried it, but I will now after your recommendation, and I think you look really handsome whilst you're doing it too.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Bonus for
I think Josh mentioned about his ears get hot in a hood.
Yeah, if you've got a hoodie up indoors, you'll get really hot ears. So if you just pop them out, cool down. It's a killer, and it's a killer look as well.
I mean, I'll be honest, I did it originally because I saw Mac DeMarco did it in a picture and I thought it looked really funny. So I did it and sent my friend a picture. And then I was like, actually, it's really comfy. And just ever since then. But sometimes I got to remember when I'm working and I might be like sat working, then I've got to do a video call that my ears are tucked and I then have to slowly put them back in. But yeah, anyone else out there? Are you into the hoodie behind the ear look? Is it comforting? Is it weird? That's tonight's question. I don't know.
So other than playing with your hoodie, what have you been up to this week, Andy?
Nothing. Working. So all good. All good in the hood. Very busy at the minute. I'm also packing because I'm moving on Saturday. So I've been busy packing. Just getting everything ready.
Nice. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I'm good. Not a lot of great news to report. Obviously, I moved into this place. This is the third Wednesday now. Time is flying. So we've just done some decorating this weekend, sorting out my son's room. He's going to be able to sleep in his own room with his own setup this weekend, which is nice. But not much has happened of note, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's the same for me as well. Just working and trying to keep occupied. Although for the first few times this week, I've ran out of time to do stuff. Where more often than not, I'm looking for something to do. But that's been nice. A few side projects like cultivating and stuff and all of that, which take up time. So it's sort of a double-edged sword is the wrong phrase, but I can't think of the right one. But it's fun to do, but it also fills some time as well. Apart from that, there's just walking, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. Although I didn't do really much this week, or I say week, we're on Wednesday, just because of the snow. That's like the worst thing. I'd love to have gone for a walk in it, but it's a shit really, because it's like if you don't fall over, you're going to get some knobhead who's going to throw a snowball at you. Like, I don't want you to do that. I don't know.
You feel right?
Huh?
You feeling a bit down at the moment?
Me? No, not at all. No.
It's just like I really love the snow and it was great, and you're like, this is shit.
No, it's cold. It's great. It's nice to look at for the first 25 minutes. Like, ooh, look at that! It's like I'm in a. It's like I'm in a Harry Potter film. Ooh, But then it starts to settle, and then you realize how cold it is, and then it starts to harden, and then you slip over on it. Then it gets compacted on the street, and it's just no, thank you. I don't need that. I don't need that.
Snowball fight round your house then.
No, because then the problem is, if there wasn't a lockdown, it'd be good. Thank you, Matthew. You agree with me? If there wasn't a lockdown, it'd be wicked because I could go to meet my sisters and my niece and nephews and have a snow. That'd be fine. What I don't like is I'll be walking, it's dark, I'm alone, and then I might see a gang of teenagers on the corner, and I know they're going to throw a snowball at me. If there was no snow, they wouldn't do anything. But because of the snow, they feel like it gives them a license to throw it. I don't like it.
But it's just a snowball. I think you'll be all right.
They might pick up a stone in it. It might have a rock in it, or a razor blade.
Yeah, you're completely right.
I'm saying, yeah, snow's nice to look at for like a little bit, and then it's boring. So the fact when I woke up today and it was all gone, I was very happy.
A resident Scrooge over here.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, Andy?
The usual. I'm drinking a Halo Raspberry Berliner. So lovely stuff.
I think it's pronounced hello.
I think it's Halo.
I think it's hello. Hello.
No, the second L is silent. It's Halo.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Languages with Andrew Conway.
What are you drinking, Nick?
I'm drinking this new drop, Stella Artois.
Mm.
It's a Belgian craft beer. Yeah, it's nice.
How is it?
It's really lovely. It's crisp, fresh.
Yeah.
And what are you drinking, Josh?
Same as last week, I'm afraid. The Brooklyn Special Effects. It's really nice.
Dry January, still going strong. Like it, mate. Sorry, I was reading some of the comments. There are people who agree with me. Thank you very much. Tommy says, some youth threatened to throw a snowball into the face, then saw I had kids and left me alone. So Tommy used his children as human shields.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was about to say.
And then Matthew says, I agree with you, Andy. So thank you very much. Matthew, are you talking about the snowballs or the hoodie ear thing? Because I feel like there might be a delay.
Maybe both.
Yeah, maybe both. Maybe both. Yeah, so there we go.
If I was wearing a hoodie, I'd give it a go, but I'm not wearing one now. But I will give it a go, and I'll give you a full review of how it.
Well, yeah, it's like I used to like to sit with a hoodie like up, sometimes. So it's just the next evolution of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think it makes total sense, doesn't it?
It's covered, and it looks good. It feels good. What's the problem?
Yeah. I've got a problem. You got a problem?
No,
I've got a problem. You got a problem.
Is anyone offended by this?
Has anyone got a fucking problem with this?
Yeah, I don't think so. People watching, let us know what you're drinking, please.
Yes.
Are you drinking a beer, a wine, a non-alcoholic drink, or maybe you're drinking melted snow from the other day? Who knows? I did see a really gross video on Instagram where someone was scooping up snow and they were putting like Mr. Frosty, syrups on it and eating it. And they were like, And then another guy took a load of snow, melted it, and just showed you what was in the snow. And it was just like black soot. I was just like, oh, disgusting.
Yeah, so don't eat snow.
Yeah,
Yellow
don't eat snow.
Or anything.
No, otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, please don't eat snow.
Public service announcement. Don't
eat yellow snow.
But the snow's gone now, isn't it? But
sorry, I keep going on about snow. This is the part I hate, when it all melts and there's just that one sad patch in the middle of grass somewhere. Like just on its own, it won't give up or something. Or you'll see like the bottom half of a snowman in a park somewhere looking all dirty and gross. I don't need it. Go.
Really depressing. The really depressing leftovers of someone spent hours just rolling this massive big snowball, and then it's just still there, and all the snow's gone. All its snow friends have gone, and there's just this big ball that refuses to melt.
Yeah, and you remember at school, it'd be like everyone would go mental because the boulder from Indiana Jones was there, the snow boulder, and it would get pushed around the playground like all day, and then you'd be anyway. I feel like we should get off this topic.
Yeah, so Andy doesn't like snow. How do you guys feel about snow?
No, I like it for the first 25 minutes. I was quite specific in that.
Okay, 25
when it
minutes of snow.
starts, everyone's like, ooh, you know.
Emma is drinking red wine and McEwen's. I'm going to pretend that Dan isn't there with her, and she's just drinking a cocktail.
Yeah. Emma, what do you call that cocktail, please?
Death.
Oh, Joe's having a lovely cup of tea.
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
Tea's good. Tea's good.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay, well, to get off this depressing snow conversation, let's have.
It's not depressing. It's not depressing. I'm just making a point.
let's just shut up. Let's have.
He's making a point and he's ramming it home.
Let's have a ray of sunshine instead. This week's guest is a producer, a musician, an entrepreneur, a handsome.
One of the best looking men ever.
Is that 5 things?
5 things.
That's 5 things. That's 2 more than usual, so that's more than enough. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dan Gautreau.
Hey!
How you doing?
Let's get the chat. Woohoo!
Good to see you.
Oh my God! Look how handsome he is. Excellent.
How's life?
Good, thanks, mate. Yeah, good. First of all, what are you drinking?
Oh man, I wish it was more exciting. It's Highland Spring.
Straight from the spring.
From the tap. Yeah.
From just out there, just outside the local spring.
Yeah. It's like Peckham Spring, but from the tap. Yeah.
So people might not know where you are and why that was a really hilarious joke. Can you tell us where you are?
Wasted on this place.
I know.
Scotland. So that's as close as you can get to Northampton right now, unfortunately. But East Nuka Fife, little fishing village. Life is quiet, and that's where we are, in a music studio inside a church, as you do. That's pretty much it.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've just had a really good little bit of coincidental sort of timing. That's probably not even a word. But basically, as Dan started talking about Scotland, Emma named her cocktail of red wine and McEwen's, and she called it Scottish Central Heating. So I thought that was pretty good timing there. So how long have you been in Scotland now, Dan?
We moved up here from Northamptonshire in 2018. Yeah, July 2018. Nick will tell me. He knows. He's got my diary.
No one has any concept of time now, do they?
Yeah, I'm getting old. I don't know. It's I don't know what's going on. About 2.5 years. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, my wife was originally from here. We've got 2 little ones, and we just thought being by the sea is nice, and she's always wanted to come home. I never thought it would be possible, and it was. It turns out. So yeah.
Bang it. Yeah. So obviously you are a producer of music.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your wonderful studio. So did you go up there with the intention of, did you have a studio here before and you moved it up there, or was it you set it up there to begin with, or kind of what was the process really?
Oh, I can do a short story version of it, but Nick probably knows. But what did we do? We thought we were going to move up here. We thought that was going to happen. So we started looking for a house that maybe I could convert a garage or do something like that and keep it simple. We originally found a house that fell through and we didn't manage to get it. And while I was coming up and looking for places to buy, I came past this church and it was for sale for pennies, literally about £5.50. It has been derelict for about 2 years, 4 years. So we basically, it was an auction property. We got it at auction and put a studio in it, and basically did a planning application and did the whole thing to put a proper commercial studio in here. And yeah, I've kind of zoomed ahead, but yeah, we basically had the intention to put a proper facility up here and somewhere I can work and do music. I do music for TV and film, mostly production music. And yeah, it's sort of, if you asked me 10 years ago, I didn't think we'd ever be able to move this far away from the M25. But it turns out it's all right. It's the internet, as you can tell, has made it sort of easy to do. So yeah, that's it. It kind of worked. I never thought it would happen. I thought it was a big gamble. Even moving from London to Northampton, I thought it would be a gamble. But coming up here was another level of drama. But I just think it's super easy. You can get someone on a flight. It's an hour from town. Yeah, super good. So I've gone off on a tangent already, but yeah, that's answered your question.
So how long did it take you to build the studio then, once you'd found the property and secured it?
Well, first of all, we've bought the building. It was a bit of a gamble, so we had to do a planning application to get basically the locals had to agree that they're okay with us putting a studio in there, which was not easy to do. So we had a lot of objections. I think there were objections from as far as Cornwall to pretty much Orkney, one of the islands there, and it was in the newspapers here 7 times, including front page of the local Herald as well. And it
what were some? So were the objections what you'd expect in terms of it's going to be noisy, or was it complete random stuff?
All the prejudice things you think would happen in a studio. Was just in everyone's brain. It's a parochial place. It's quiet. It's an old church. And basically what happened was people just thought Keith Richards was going to come up and start smoking crack on the doorstep. And he doesn't do it that often, but when he does,
he doesn't. He doesn't do it on the doorstep anyway. You're always smoking crack.
Pretty much.
He does. So, yeah, he does go hard, doesn't he, old Keith?
He does, yeah, and yeah, he set a bad name for musicians. But yeah, so it took a while. It took about 6 months, and it got rejected, and it had to go to committee, which is almost like where you have to go into Edinburgh and go to almost like a mini House of Commons and sit round a round table with it felt like very bigoted views, and watch all these other planning applications get rejected, and then for some reason it just seemed to slide through. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, and we got the green light, and it took 6 months to build. I did a renovation and put this is basically, we're in the center of a church now, but this is basically a room within that church. And they put this mix room in here for me, and it's been a dream. If you asked me 10 years ago if I ever had something like this, it's a joke, really. But we managed to make it happen, and yeah, very, very lucky.
No, it's amazing.
It's a very, very, very impressive and cool studio, but it's not like an overnight thing, is it? You've been working as a producer and songwriter for a very long time.
Yeah, almost as long as you, Nick, I think. Yeah, almost.
Yeah, a couple of months difference, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I guess, yeah. Well, this is my 20th year in music. So I was a T-boy, obviously, at that age, 20.
I thought you were going to say on Earth. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was my 20th
year.
Yeah. This is what the music industry does to you.
So you've obviously said that you do more kind of film and TV production stuff. So just for anyone watching who maybe doesn't know, what does that entail? Are we talking Hans Zimmer, or are we talking, Muzak?
Yeah, it's somewhere between the two. Yeah, so we're trying to do artist-driven music for TV and film. So it becomes in the space of kind of production music now, and yeah, you're just trying to just make good songs really that are used within TV and film. And yeah, there's just a really good outlet. So yeah, I've been kind of doing stuff with Sony ATV now for about nearly 10 years in different shapes and sizes, and now through my own outlet with a mate of mine called Tom Howe, who's quite a big film composer now. He's sort of more of the Hans Zimmer category, does kind of big movies and stuff. We've kind of got our own outlet now, which we do through EMI Production Music, and we basically just trying to make artist-driven EPs and put it out in that space, and it gets used on everything from tampon adverts right through to Samuel Jackson movies, jumping out of helicopters and all that kind of stuff. So it's everything in between.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's exploited, and Yeah, it's a good angle and it's really good fun. It wakes you up in the morning. And it's not much bullshit in it. There's not lots of A&Rs trying to change what I'm doing, and loads of opinions, egos. It's just really simple, just trying to focus on good music and put it out. It's as simple as that, really.
You mentioned briefly about working, or I know that you work with a lot of people in America, and you mentioned earlier, we were talking before we came on air, that you work a few late shifts, so to speak, to match up with their time. That would make me think that maybe you do a lot of work remotely already. Obviously, you're not necessarily recording live bands with lots of people in the room at the same time. So has lockdown and restricted movement, and has that affected your actual day-to-day job much?
Yeah, it has actually. The point of me putting this building together and actually doing this was that it was going to be like a collaborative space. And my biggest fear was that I would be here on my own about 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night. And that's basically what happens every day now. So I did have an intern for a while, and he's now, obviously because of COVID, no one's in the building. So yeah, I guess from a collaborative point of view, it has affected things, because I used to actually probably be more self-isolating, working more remotely. And now I wanted to kind of make it so that it was more of a team and people here just in and out all the time. So yeah, the plan has changed, but in terms of having work, and the internet is where it's always been for me. The internet's been my job, it's internet money, really. And whether I'm in Timbuktu or Northampton or inside the M25 or in LA or wherever, it doesn't really matter. It's, are you delivering? And as the music getting used, is the music active? And yeah.
Oh, we lost him.
He's banging on about his amazing internet.
Oh no!
Or he's playing the best still Frank I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, he's back.
Oh my god, it is haunted!
Is that clear?
That was so freaky. You're back now.
Yeah.
It was really funny then, because you were still for a second, and we were like, "Oh, he's banging on about his wicked internet," and then all of a sudden, the image came back. You were gone, and we could just see the door sliding open.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Dan, is obviously film production has ground to a halt. So that must have been significant for you.
Do you know what? It's funny. I think it will, but it's a weird knock-on effect. Because what we do here, it's not like you're going to work like a plumber and you're earning your fee for your day, and then you're coming back and it's real time sort of money earning. You're basically, the music that I did maybe 2 years ago is now active, and that's what's generating the income that's coming in through performances. So it's on TV or whatever, or radio, and it's such a long time for money to come in that actually I won't probably see the knock-on effects until a couple of years' time, because you get residual royalties, you see. So I'm not going to say that it's not affecting it. It's just not. It's not affecting. It's not affecting, I think, the songwriting community in the short term. It's more of a long-term thing, because we're all. If you ask any songwriter that's earning their main income from writing songs, it's always 2 years previous. Was their day of work, to when they're getting paid. So no, but I know that people who are doing music for TV productions, like if you're doing a BBC drama, you're going to be, if the schedule stops and no one's working, you're not working. So yeah.
Have you a question I wanted to ask you is, knowing obviously what you do, and Nick obviously is involved somehow, and Joel as well. Have you ever come across, or have you ever had a song presented to you where someone has said, this could be a song that could be released? Because obviously the way the business works in terms of you're doing songs for TV production, maybe not an artist, but have you ever had someone approach you with one of your library songs that they want to then maybe give it to a pop singer or something around that sort of way?
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times. And Nick will tell you, like, you sit in a room and you just try and write a good song to a brief. And that's kind of what you do if you're a jobbing songwriter writing for, Ellie Goulding or anyone, any pop artist or anything. You're going in a room with a brief. There's a box that you've got to fit in to make it work for that project. And, there's been times where where I actually did a brief for about 6 or 7 years ago, where we did a song, and the song turned out a little bit better than we thought it would or should have, and we kept hold of it and pitched it, and it ended up being on X Factor winners album, guy Ben Hayner,
wow.
who won X Factor. So yeah, I don't know whether that's better or worse than production music, but it became a commercial piece of music. Do you know what I mean? It's a song. It
Yeah.
became a record, and yeah. So I guess from an ego point of view, it makes you realize that you're hopefully right into the right level and you're trying to get a good standard. But I just think it's an even playing field now. People just judge music. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it average? It doesn't matter if it's a production music track, or it doesn't matter if it's David Bowie's last single. You know, you just judge it, don't you? And because it's streaming playlists,
Yeah.
no one. You know,
I was telling Nick this story, how there was a song that was on a advert for like Wrigley's chewing gum like years ago, and it was a guy walking down the street, and these little bits of food are following him, and the whole thing is you chew the gum and gets rid of the smell. And it had this lovely like acoustic song, and the advert was like 30 seconds long, and I was like, wow, that was really nice. Looked for it everywhere, couldn't find it. Found a forum where someone was like, it's literally a piece of library music the guy wrote. It's literally 60 seconds long. And that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's so funny.
But the song itself, what I heard, I was like, that is incredible. Like, I want it. Couldn't get it because it's not a real song.
Yeah. There's loads of guys that, especially now that the level has changed and the level has gone up, because if you library music, production music is the same thing. It's just different. It's the American term and the English term. But production music, what's happened is the level used to be pretty poor and got a bad name. Like it was Muzak, it was just not a fake version of something that you couldn't afford is what it was, from a TV perspective. And now the level is just crazy. Even from the people that are involved, like the different you can do a rock album and you could have the guys from Whitesnake playing all the guitar solos, and you could do a post rock album and it could be the guys from Sigur Rós doing all the drum production. It wouldn't surprise me now, because everybody's giving it a go and realizing that it's just a way to get music into the ether, really, or do stuff. And yeah, there's loads of guys living in Norfolk in castles who are just sort of 50-year-old men who have basically put together their own one-man band and done all these songs for adverts and stuff. And it's quite fascinating to see that people are searching for like a band that have played it. It's just some random bloke or woman, funny.
Yeah, that's the trade-off, isn't it? Because the level of music is the level of songwriting rather is so high, because it's a very competitive field. And like, just going back a few steps, but you never kind of write a song and go, oh, that would fit a brief, and it's not something that's good enough for me. You wouldn't get used. It wouldn't be picked. You like, the whole point is to write a great song that fits the brief anyway. It's not like, oh, this song's a bit like it and it's just a bit crap and I wouldn't want to play this live or release it as my own name. It has to be good, otherwise it's not going to get used and you're not going to earn any money off of it.
Yeah.
So like the level, like even when I first started with you, Dan, what was it? Must be 9 years ago or something, when we first started writing together. I was
Crazy.
like, fuck, this is hard. Like, the song has to be good. I can't just churn out like a 3-chord thing with no thought process, no lyrical content. Like, it had to be a really good song, otherwise it just wouldn't get picked. So yeah,
it's fascinating, isn't it? I think that there's preconceptions to it. I think people, even now, like people coming out of the woodwork, like there's a lot of pop writers maybe who did really well maybe 10 years ago, earned a good living, bought their house and and had a career and profile, and they're for whatever reason the tap turns off because of fashion, or they're not the guy they call anymore, and they all of them dip into doing a bit of production music, and then they maybe dip out again, and then about 5 years later they regret not keeping doing it, not just financially, but just as like a different income stream. And yeah, it's a fascinating world. And like you say, it's in your interest to make it as good as possible, because you're competing with, America. That's what I always feel like. You're competing with the American level of, songwriting and musicianship. And it just seems to be a little bit tighter over there at the moment in terms of quality control. And yeah.
What would you, I suppose I can actually ask both of you this question. If anything, what's the hardest brief to write to? Like if someone said, I want you to write an Adam Sandler-esque song, would that be something that's really hard to write to? Or would you just be able to knock that out? Is there one that when you see it, you're like, oh, I just can't get my head around that genre or that brief?
You go, Nick.
Well, personally, I'd just have a stab at anything. You know, you might not get it right, but whatever it is, I'd have a go. I've got enough toys, like in my budget little room here, to give anything a go. Obviously, you feel more comfortable doing certain things. If it's a really, really terrible indie pop song, I'm your guy. But yeah,
No.
I'd have a stab at anything because I mean, as this from my point of view, but also perhaps like other songwriters and things, you love music, so that's the whole reason you do it. So you'll see merit in everything. So you'd always want to try and give things a go and see how it worked out. I mean, I don't think I could, even if I tried for months and months and months and had all the best gear in the world, I don't think I'd ever be able to write a truly good grime song with feeling. But I'd give it a go.
Yeah, I think it's that comfort zone thing again, isn't it? You know, I think it's some people you've got your skill set. I think everyone, you know, you've just got your strengths and your weaknesses, and I think, yeah, I find that trap is probably the hardest. It seems like a genre that's in your blood. It's really popular right now in terms of film and TV, and Netflix too. Like it's so much black-based drama, and it seems to be this. Everybody just wants trap music, but I've approached it. And it literally is terrible. Like, I'd like to think I can have a crack at anything, but I just can't write it. But I actually think that pop music is probably the hardest in terms of taking it to fruition. So if you're trying to do like say you're trying to do like a Dua Lipa or a modern pop record that's like a radio sounding pop record, the level of detail that's involved in putting that together, people underestimate how much detail goes into it. And I think that even though it might come together really quickly as a writing session to write the song, actually taking that production to final mix is not to be joked at. It's actually quite a dark process for me. I have to have a few days away and come back, you know.
I remember at university we had Trevor Horn came in and did a talk, and talked about his sort of production life. But he told a story. Someone asked, who have you had in the studio recently? And he said, oh, well, I get people come to use my studio, like other producers and things. And he said, yeah, I had Timbaland in. This is a couple of years ago. This is when Timbaland was, every pop song was like a Timbaland song. And he was saying, yeah, he said he's really interesting because he said he's not really a traditional producer. He said he literally has a guy who comes in and writes the beat and he sends him away. He then has another guy and he comes in and writes the bass line. He said all these people never meet, and Timbaland just cherry picks all the parts he wants, slaps them all together, and sticks his name on it. He said he's quite an interesting worker in that sense. That he never lets any of these people meet among themselves, and then just puts it all together himself.
Yeah. This is how it goes. This is like the production team ethic that happens, especially in America.
Yeah, and that's what Trevor Horn was saying. That's a very American style of doing it, with different people for different aspects of the recording, as opposed to one.
It's funny that you brought up Trevor Horn because that was one of your first jobs, wasn't it, Dan? Working under Trevor Horn.
I was Trevor's bitch for a few years. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm not going to crack about it. He's a brilliant guy. I mean, I was T-boy at one of my first jobs was T-boy at Psalm West, which is his studio. I was there for 4 years, and it was an amazing experience. Got to work on a load of projects. Came to America for the first time with him, doing a film soundtrack that he did. He's a genius. It's one of those things I kind of didn't really work it out until I'd left because it was such 100-hour weeks. It was a long graft. But amazing experience, work with different artists, and just watch his process and how much effort he puts in and how much just it goes around the houses on a production, even if it means stripping it all back at the end. He just needs to try every single avenue, and yeah, it was inspiring, and still to this day you know, I'd like to think that I've got a bit of that work ethic, you know, in my brain. I can't get it out of my brain, you know. He's another level of a creative human. Yeah.
Mm. Well, speaking
If
of
anyone hasn't
creative
heard of
humans,
Trevor Horn, they should definitely get on Google and have a look at Trevor Horn's work. He was the singer in the Buggles,
yeah,
but he was also a very, very great producer. And it was Psalm West. That's where they recorded Band Aid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amongst other things, all George Michael's, all of
Many
his
others.
hits. Yeah, a huge legendary studio, one of the top sort of 5-10 studios. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great place.
Let's listen to some music.
Yeah.
This week we've got somebody we've already spoken about, Joel Harris. And if you know anything about the Northampton music scene, you know he is one of the shining lights of it, in my opinion. So yeah, we're really lucky to have a couple of tracks from him this week. So are we good, Nick?
Yeah, we're ready to go. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Cool. So this is the first one. This is called No Truth, which is a Big Loss song. And Joel is, of course, a member of Big Loss. So here we go.
We're presented with a mere facade, just brief flashes of a life in progress. This is no truth. You looked happy there. How are we to know that under that thin veneer you were desperately low? This is no truth. This is no truth.
There we go. Joel Harris.
Oh God,
Clap
that
emoji,
guy,
please.
that guy,
That was so good.
he's brilliant, isn't he? I remember I once when I went to uni in Southampton, they did a gig in there's like a bar, they call it the Bargate Castle. It's in like the old sort of castle walls in Southampton, and it's like an art space, and they started putting gigs on. And basically, someone was like, "Oh, do you know anyone who could play?" And I was like, "I'll just message Joel." So I said, "Joel, do you want to do this gig?" And he was like, "Yeah, cool." He came to Southampton, and this is how good Joel was and is. He played the gig, and Joel was so good that people came up to me and said, "Thanks for bringing him down." That's how good he was. So just his excellence was giving me kudos. And like 4 people came up to him like, "Thank you so much." I was like, "No problem." Like no problem whatsoever. Yeah. Thank you, Joel. Lovely Joel.
Thank you, Joel. Yeah, that was really good. I really made me miss not. Well, the last time I heard that must have been at one of their gigs.
Yeah.
And it just sort of like took me back there, like, oh shit, yeah, remember gigs.
remember gigs. What was the Dan? What was the last gig you went to that you can remember?
Oh, duh. It was in America. It was just a local,
All
like
right.
a talent gig. Yeah. Oh, I've just dropped some names, shall I?
All right, mate,
no, I
you're
don't
on.
remember. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I can't tell you who it was. I can just tell you. I can't even tell you the name of the bar. But that was the last time. It was January last year. Yeah, that was it.
Nice.
I am due to go to a gig in May, but it looks like it's going to be cancelled. I was going to see Eric Clapton, but
it's
not
getting
gonna
that way, isn't it? Yeah, I can remember everything getting rescheduled. I thought May possibly, but the fact Glastonbury cancelled isn't a good sign. I don't think really. Can you boys remember what was the last thing you went to? Got to be a local show, maybe.
Last gig I went to, I was Editors, Birmingham.
Hmm.
It was great. So it's
Yeah.
a good one to go out on while we're waiting.
When was that, Nick?
February.
Okay. Yeah.
So nearly a year
All right.
ago, yeah.
What about you, Joshy?
I think one of the last ones that I remember was probably Phantom Isle when they played at the Lamplighter, which I think was February, maybe. I can't. I might be wrong. Maybe that was the year before. It's all sort of gone a bit blurry back there. But yeah, it would have been either a gig at the Lamport. There was something at the Gary as well, but I can't remember which one that was. But yeah, sort of February last year, I think.
Yeah. I can't. Well, aside from the one that me and Nick played in December, I don't really class that. But I can't think of genuinely can't think of the last gig I went to like anymore. It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, I've played 3 gigs since December 2019. All 3 of them were with you, just the 2 of us.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I think that's the same for me. I think the only gigs I played was all with you. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
banging.
Yeah,
we got a couple
rock concert for ages.
No, I can't think of the last one I went to or played for sure. Dan, we did get a question earlier. I didn't mean to bring it up. Your church studio, we had a question saying, is it haunted or have you ever suspected of it being haunted?
It's funny you should say that. I've just been at the end of last year. I worked with an artist here who's from local, a guy called James Yorkston, he's signed to Domino. He's a brilliant guy. He believes that there's something up in there's like a canopy above this main hall. I can't show you, but outside here, almost like a gallery that used to look down to where the vicar would have talked. And when we went up there and I showed him around the building, he was like, "No, I don't want to stay here. Can you just bring me down here, please?" So yeah, he believes there is. But we shouldn't be talking about that because it's like nighttime now and I'm here on my own.
That door's moving behind you, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't care anymore. It's like, if it's going to get me, I'll just do it. I've been here so much. But, yeah.
Operation
Take me now.
down south now.
Yeah, and I'm a veteran at being inside churches now as well. So Psalm was exactly the same. So when you're a T-boy at Psalm, it's just a giant building, 4,000 square foot, 5,000 square foot, whatever it was, and it was weird. It did feel spooky in there, you know, big building. But what do you do?
No, nothing really. For my other chaps, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Have ever of you have a ghostly encounter, a haunting, a poltergeist?
No, there are no ghosts.
No, but that doesn't stop me being a little bit scared and run up the stairs late at night.
No,
Yes.
Never seen anything. But like,
it's just fear of the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You turn the lights off in the house. You're ready to go to bed, and you run up the stairs like, oh fucking hell.
I've only genuinely been scared once, which was I was asleep and I woke up and I got this feeling like someone was staring at me. It was like really weird. And I remember like opening one eye and sort of looking around the room and it's pitch black, and then reaching under my bed and getting my baseball bat that I have kind of under there. So I was like looking around anyway. Then my senses came too, and I was like, "There's no one in here," but my curtains were like slightly open. And I was like, that's weird because I don't remember that. Anyway, I never thought anything of it. And my room backs onto a flat roof. Anyway, the skylight started leaking in the extension. So the guy came around and looked at it, and he reckoned there was a footprint on the glass. And he was like, has someone been up here? So really, it was someone maybe like seeing my open window, opening the curtains and seeing my naked, hairy ass staring back out at it, and they went the other way then basically and didn't bother robbing me. So, yeah.
They were more spooked than you.
Yeah. He would have been. He would have been like, oh, wicked, there's a flat roof, there's a window there. And then he would have just seen my cheek. Okay, and he would have been gone. So you don't need burglar alarms, people. You need a video of that. Scare off. Scare off. For anyone in the chat, if there's any hauntings you've experienced, please let us know. We've actually got a few people, actually.
Don't sound surprised.
No. I mean, aren't saying about that. So someone said their house is 220 years old.
Yeah, Claire. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it spooky though, Claire? That's the question. It's an old house, but have you ever experienced a haunting? So yeah, there we go.
The only thing I've been fully scared of, sorry, Josh, the only thing I've ever been fully scared of is Michael Jackson. That's it. Scares the fucking bejesus out of me. Even now. Can't watch Thriller. Can't watch it. Hid behind the sofa when I was little when I watched that video. Still can't watch it. He's a very ghostly presence, isn't he? Very well.
Yeah, he was a haunting presence. Yeah, most certainly. Yeah.
That's even before I knew he was a pedo.
There was something telling you there was something wrong. There was something was
I know,
warning you.
intuitively I knew.
Yeah, you were the only one.
He was out to get me.
Okay. We did have a couple of questions. A couple for Joel. So I contacted him with the questions, and we got some of the answers. So,
I was really hoping you were going to go. So I'll be answering on his behalf.
Shit, I should have done that. I should have definitely done that. Okay, so Josh asked, "What's the best thing Frank the dog has done recently?" And Joel said, "Oh, Andy, you'll like this. Frank peed on every snowman in the park."
Good for you, Frank. Melt them immediately.
Marking his territory.
And is that what you do as well, Andy?
What?
Pisses on snowmen.
No, because I don't go outside.
Sorry.
I'm staying inside where it's warm, and I'm not going to slip over and break my foot.
Okay. Mo, friend of the show, Mo, asked, what's the worst song Joel's ever written? And he said it's a He Sold Space song. He called "I Was Lonely." Maximum cringe. He said.
That's a good song.
But that's probably only because it's the oldest one.
Right.
And the songwriter always loves the last song they wrote the best. And it's because it's probably one of the oldest ones he's written. He's like, oh no, it's rubbish. But it's probably better than anything I'll ever write.
Yeah.
That's how annoyingly good Joel is.
Yeah.
Should we have the other Joel song?
Why the fuck not?
So. Yeah, I think so. We're blessed with you this week. Yeah, absolutely blessed.
Yeah,
Claire says no, her house. It's not actually a house. Claire lives in a church that's 220 years old. There you go, Dan.
Wow.
But she said no spooks. No
Good.
spooks.
Good.
Trying to one up you there. How old's your church?
How old's your church?
1843.
Oh.
What's that? 100, I don't know.
138.
Can
Yeah.
someone give us the answer in the chat?
Someone do some maths. Who passed their GCSE?
Yeah.
I got
Josh,
C.
are we watching the film Good Will Hunting? Is that what you've just done?
Like a sexier Carol Vorderman. Anyway, on that bombshell, here we go.
Sorry. Claire, mine's 1802.
Oh, geez.
Just nuked you from orbit. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Shut the studio down. Move out. It's done. Right, anyway,
I need to find an older one now. Start again.
Yeah. Let's start again. Move to ancient Greece. Right. It'll be warmer.
It will
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Man tries to set up studio in the Colosseum. Planning permission denied.
No ceiling. Yeah.
Good luck intonating those guitars there. But anyway, so Joel has done 2 performances for us. So here's the other one. This is another Big Loss tune, but it's unreleased, so it's exclusive to us.
Yeah.
It'll be on their forthcoming EP that Joel assures me is nearly done. Here we go.
Your name sets off a ripple of sadness in my chest. It spreads out in gentle waves across my face. I see a picture of our old band flashing by on a screen. And I collapsed inward as the ripples spread slowly out. I hope you found some peace in another place, in another place. A heavy day sneaks up on me as the summer stretches on, followed swiftly by your birthday. But you don't grow old. Nowadays I try to see this in a different light. Spend some time with fond memories and our good friends. I hope you found some peace in another place, in another place.
Oh, there we are. Hello.
Claps in the chat.
Thank you, Joel.
Pretty bloody lovely.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, that was really good, man.
Yeah,
Amazing.
looking forward to hearing the Big Loss band version of that too as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Definitely, definitely. Should we do some questions, Andy? Do you want? Should we? Is it
Yeah.
about that time?
I think it's about that time. Yeah, let me. I was unprepared. I was filming Joel. Sorry. On
No,
my...
I mean the regular questions.
Oh, I thought there was a question for Dan.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah.
Sorry.
have you not-
So, question for Dan: biggest pet peeve when producing people? That comes from Mo Dabler.
The biggest pet peeve. People that say no in the studio without coming up with something alternative. It pisses me off.
Nice.
You can say no to an idea, give me a different one. It just pisses me off.
Yeah,
Should be
it's good.
wonderment. Yeah.
I
Short,
like
sweet, mate.
that. Yeah, that's literally like I'm like, yeah, damn. You can actually literally take that into life as well. You know. Good
Pretty
lesson.
much. Yeah.
I remember one of the best lessons I ever got taught was my guitar teacher in school, and he was like, "Lesson number one: there will always be someone better than you. It doesn't mean you should stop." And I was like, "Oh," and he said, "Don't obsess, just enjoy." And I was like, "Nice." I tried to remember that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Must be tough though, because there's probably a couple of billion people better than you, isn't there, Andy?
Oh no, I know. Yeah, but, you know, I enjoy. So yeah.
Sick burn.
Yeah, I mean, when he said it to me, he said there will always be some people better than you. So he was quite. Everyone else, it was someone, but me, it was people. Don't obsess, enjoy.
Yeah,
That's
it's true.
good. Oh, really? That's really good. Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Because you naturally you lean towards obsessing, don't you? I think it's good to correct yourself. Tommy's just made a comment. Actually, he said he remembers watching Joel play in his old band in 2002 when Joel must have been a teenager. And Nick turned to me and he said, "He's got something special." He wasn't wrong.
So true.
Yeah.
19 years ago. 19
Very
years
true.
ago.
Crazy.
I'm not even sure that Joel is 19 years old.
Wasn't he like 7 years old then, or 5 years old?
Yeah. If anyone in the chat, how old's Joel Harries, please? Thank you very much. We've got a question in the chat for you, Dan. Question from Claire. Who would be your biggest influence right now? So I think that's open. So that could be maybe not a musician. Could be anything really.
Yeah.
Is Eric Clapton though?
Yeah, Eric Clapton's my hero. He's my hero. Although he's not got a good rep this year. I don't know if you saw, he did an anti-lockdown song with Van Morrison. Did you see that?
No.
I know. It's just unreal. It was like, yeah, there was stuff in the lyrics that was like, Dick Turpin wore a mask was one of the lyrics. He's just so bad. Like,
Oh my God.
Anyway, so that's my hero. I think it's super important to have mentors, especially like within the current climate. Not to go off on a tangent, but yeah, I like to try and be influenced by a lot of stuff. But yeah, I think it's important to like, have mentors and be influenced by people. I don't know who else I'm influenced by, but there's loads of people in the industry that I love, different bits from different people. I just think their work ethic, or I don't know, just their character or whatever. I just think it's important. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like from what you were talking about working in your first studio that, I know I've spoken to you before about your career and sort of studios that you work for, that you sort of, you admired and you looked up to the people that you were working for. So they became your inspirations and your mentors, as you know, your bosses or whatever you'd call them.
Yeah, superb. Yeah, I think mentors are vital for me. It's not like hero worship or anything like that, but just having people that can almost silently guide you. And I'm lucky to have a couple that are quite well-known people in terms of the music industry, who I just feel lucky to almost call them my friends. I can speak to them on email and things like that, and just get a bit of advice now and again. It doesn't matter what age you are, or how much years experience in whatever field of work you're in. I just think it's really important to have a little bit of a roadmap sometimes, a little bit of a slap on the face now and again, or, pat on the back if you're desperate for it and all that kind of stuff. It's quite nice. It's good. I think I love the music industry for that's good, because there's a lot of people behind the scenes that no one knows the names of these people, but they can be absolutely prolific, like, on 200 number ones, 300 number one records, sometimes things like that. And you'd never know who they were, but they're huge taste making people. And I think it's important to understand how their brains work and how their train of thought works, because there's not an accident. There's a machine at play there. And it's something to look up to. Do you know what I mean? They're always going to be better, but it's something to, what you were saying about the guitar players. You've got something to strive for, to almost compete in your own little way. Like, I don't know, helps me anyway. Helps me fail less maybe than I do. Which is quite a lot.
We just got another question in. Sorry, this is, I suppose, is for the group. Who is your favorite local artist or band? I'm going to shotgun Joel Harries. Sorry. So, and basically any band that Joel's been in, I've enjoyed. It's really weird. Every band. Nick's the same. I like all of Nick's musical output as well. And I also like Sarpa Salpa. I also like Fox Chapel, when Fox Chapel were still doing doing things. Really enjoyed that band. But to be honest, Northampton's just got a plethora of really good local music. So it's kind of hard to pick everyone out, I suppose. I don't know about everyone else.
Yeah, I really love your stuff, Nick. I think Nick's brilliant. I think Nick's one of the most talented songwriters in Northampton. He definitely writes singles if you kick him up the bum. It's good.
Cool. Do you accept PayPal?
Jay's good. Ginger Snaps, he's good.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
And Joel is a machine. He does so many different genres as well. Like, I work with him quite a bit, but I love Joel. I think he's brilliant.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, Nick?
Excuse me. Yeah. I'd agree with most of the ones all of the ones that have been said. I should have said most and not mentioned who I didn't agree with, shouldn't I? Like most of the bands.
What's wrong with Joel? What's wrong with him?
I'd have to add pieces to that list.
Yeah, God, sorry.
No, well, no, you didn't say it's too late.
No, I know I didn't. It's just, there's too many.
No, yeah. Well, this is the thing. I mean, it'd be harder to name a band that I didn't like or that I wouldn't go and see. I think the caliber.
Oh, actually, that could be more interesting. Tell me which bands you hate. Come on, let's hear it.
Future Love.
Not a band anymore. Doesn't matter. So that's fine.
Doesn't count. No, yeah, I think I mean, we know. I would imagine us and a lot of the people watching know the music scene in Northampton a bit, or have at least been to a load of gigs, and the caliber's always hard. But Pieces for me, I've been lucky enough to know those guys for a long time, and I love them and their music. So yeah, and it's good to see that they're just about to release a new EP. I think it is. So yeah, that's exciting.
Definitely.
Nice.
Klaus?
Yeah, I agree with all of the answers so far. I would add King Purple to that equation. I'm a big fan of those guys from Corby. The Monarchs, big fan of those too. I just think they're, despite lockdown, just trying to think back to the last gigs I went to and things, it's in rude health really in the scene. I think Blood Visions, Joe Collis, thank you, good reminder. There's a lot of great bands in town. Kinships, so tons. There's almost too many to mention. It's actually a bit insane how many people are good in this town that we don't get a light shone on us much, but it's pretty prolific in terms of creative output, not just for music as well.
Hell yeah. We've got another question. I'm loving all these questions we're getting tonight, everyone. It's really, really enjoyable. Question for the group, for all of us. This is actually really good for you, Dan. But Claire asks, what do you miss about Northampton? So obviously you moved away, but then for the rest of us, now that we're getting a bit older, what would you bring back given the chance? Me personally, this Claire, the Soundhouse days, community abroad. I'm trying to bring creative things like that back. A design festival, thoughts. So what do people think? Soundhouse, things like that. We'll start with you, Dan.
I moved to Northampton in 2008. So I was actually post Soundhouse, but everybody just did not stop going on about it. It was obviously the venue. I remember you talking about it, Nick, and Tom Stubbsy was talking about it. So I don't know that venue, but I miss the level of output creatively in Northampton. I'm in the middle of nowhere now, in a fishing village in East Snooker Fife. So Northampton was the most creative place I ever lived. Even when I lived in London for 10 years, I still think that Northampton had just there was a nucleus there that just had so much creativity, and almost like I don't know, that sort of ring road there was just so much going on inside there. I don't know why in particular, but yeah, I miss having people 2 minutes down the road coming in. That's the biggest thing I miss. But yeah, I think it's that's the biggest thing I miss.
What about you boys? Nick?
Josh has got a different answer to me, but I just wanted to talk about the Soundhouse for a second. It was just insane. I mean, I worked there. It was one of my first proper jobs behind the bar, and also cleaning it at the end of the night and doing any shift I could get. I'd go in during the day to clean it up, and absolutely adored that building. Yeah, worked there, rehearsed there, played gigs there, watched my favorite bands, and for a small moment of time, it was just like a beacon of like fun, somewhere to go, be creatives, to enjoy, get drunk, everything happened there. Sometimes even slept there. Like it was that important to my time and my upbringing. Like just from the early 2000s to when it closed. It the list of bands that played there, like Arctic Monkeys, Scissor Sisters, The Killers,
Wow.
Jimmy Eat World. It was utterly insane. Like it just that moment in time will never be recreated because bands can't make it work to go through small towns anyway anymore. But at that time, they would like bands like the Killers on their way up were doing 15, 16 dates just in the UK. But a band like now, they only need to do London, Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow. Done.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah.
They don't do Norwich, don't do Leicester, don't do Coventry, Northampton. It's just not needed. But at that time, every band went through there. Keane. Well, there was one night where it was Keane and the Kills on the same night in 2 different rooms. That's mental.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
like top 20 hits. Like insane. So yeah, it was just an incredible place. And club nights, and you know, it was a 14 plus venue for gigs. So you get younger kids like all the way through, get into like 21, 22, like have done nothing else but go to the Sound House. Yeah, it was an incredible place. But yeah, that's it. Before I get too teary.
Josh?
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. Soundhouse. Yeah, I mean, that was sort of my introduction to live music. I think when I started going there, and it was always a good night. I think one of the things that I didn't appreciate about that venue at the time that I now do is that you could chat to the bands afterwards, particularly in the smaller room, as the stage was less of a stage than it is in the main room. So yeah, the amount of times you hung out after and just spoke to the people you just bought a ticket to see, that was really incredible. That's something that maybe, well, it doesn't happen at big venues, does it? Really, that was amazing. But yeah, I saw so many bands for the first time there, and then became a huge fan of them, and also saw some of my favourite bands play there as well. So yeah, it's got to be the Sound House. But I'm hoping that there's a new Sound House in some form soon. There's always talks about venues and stuff in Northampton, but yeah, hopefully that happens again because that was amazing. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, our love for the Sound House is similar to the love you have for Joiners in Southampton, Andy.
Yeah. I mean, I did spend some time at the Sound House, but then I went to uni in Southampton. So for me, the Joiners is that, because I spent my uni years there playing and stuff. But in terms of Northampton, I miss Oliver Adams. I'd say. Yeah, I really miss Oliver Adams. Brilliant bakery. They were dotted all around the town. Very convenient. I really enjoyed paying, £4 for a cheese roll.
You do know some of them are still there and open, right?
No, that's not the same though, mate. It's not the same. Does that? Me and Nick used to work together. Does the Oliver Adams van still come to the office?
No, it never did when we worked there together.
No,
I think it like once in a blue moon. There's
maybe
about 5 that come around now, but it's all
okay. We're getting off on a tangent. Dan, we have 2 regular questions that we ask our guests to come on. So the first question we're going to ask you is, who is the most famous person you have seen in Northampton? The cheesier, the better.
There's a few, isn't there? There's a few local celebrities, like minor celebrities. Alan Carr, I've seen.
Nice. I don't think we've had Alan Carr.
Hey,
No?
I think that's you're the first person, in all the shows. So
Alan Carr. Yeah, when I first moved up, I worked with a couple of people that were like pop artists that had come up, like Ellie Goulding and Ben Howard, people like that. They'd come up to work when I lived in Wycliffe Road. They came up there in Abington.
Excellent.
That's about it, really. Yeah, I can't think.
Where did you see Alan Carr? Was he walking down the street?
He was in Boots.
What was he buying?
What was in his basket? Was he getting a meal deal?
I don't know. I just was like, that's Alan Carr. That is. Bye, Alan Carr.
Oh my god! I remember my friends had this spate. There was about 3 of them who kept running into what's his name? The guy who married Liza Minnelli, David. Who was that guy?
No.
David Fern? No. What was his name? That's Elton John. No, who's the guy who married Liza Minnelli? David Guest.
Yes.
David Guest.
Yeah.
And there was like a spate of like a month where my friends kept seeing him, and basically like my mates saw him and said, "You're David Guest." As he got in a car, and he just looked at him and got in. But then another mate of mine was at a party, and he was walking through the bar, and David Guest was there, and he said he got to him, and we looked at each other, and he looked at me like he knew me. So I went, "Hey, how's it going?" And apparently David Guest was like, "Yeah, good. How are you?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good, thanks." Then my friend just went, "We should do lunch sometime, catch up." He's like, "Yeah, it's so good to see you. I'd love to hang out again." He's like, David gets like, "When did I last see you?" He's like, "A few years ago, like Miami." And he went, "That's right. So good to see you." 2 years ago, Miami? Yeah, that's right. That was where we saw each other. Sorry, go off a tangent there. Our next question for you, Dan. What have you been reading, listening to, watching? Recommendations for our audience you want to shout out about?
Completed Netflix.
You got a gold star award for completing it.
Yeah, in record time as well. Loads of BBC stuff's come on Netflix now. All the BBC crime dramas, which I quite like. There's one, forgot the name of it now. Have a look at BBC stuff. I'm a Killer is good on Netflix, and subsequently my business partner did the music for that, which is good. It's always a bit of a plug.
Nice.
But it's actually a really good serial killer documentary episode, different people in each episode. That's about it, really. Yeah, nothing else.
Good ones.
They're good. Yeah, good ones. Thank you very much. Josh, what you got this week?
Oh, you put me on the spot now. I can't think. Oh no, it's not that. Excuse me. It's not that interesting. I'm afraid. I've been re-listening to a podcast that I re-listened to a few weeks ago. Brian and Roger is a comedy podcast. It's really fucking funny and it makes me laugh every time. So I'd thoroughly recommend that. It's Brian and Roger, about 2 guys that have the podcasts are their answer machine messages to each other because they never get hold of each other. But it's really, really funny. So yeah, listen to that.
Nice.
Lovely. Nick?
How are you getting on with Red Dwarf, Josh? Did you just plough through the whole season or just dropped it?
No, I did about 3 or 4 episodes of the first season, and then I left it there. It didn't age well, in my opinion, but I still love it. I still love it. Yeah.
It's a nostalgia trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think like there's like some choice episodes. I reckon I might just try and dip in and have a go at that.
Yeah, maybe I should have done that rather than trying to watch it from the very beginning and through. Yeah,
maybe. Me, I'll take the. You can go last, Andy, because you're the more intellectual of all of us. I'm gonna be really nerdy, and I am a huge Jimmy World fan. So they've been doing some live streams. The second of which is this Friday. They're doing the album Futures in full. So I'm very much looking forward to that as an emo nerd. But they've also done a lot of promotional stuff for it. So a lot of podcasts. There's a podcast called Washed Up Emo, which is a lot of post-hardcore emo and pop punk bands being interviewed about new records and old records that they've done. But there's a new one with Zach Lind, who's a drummer from Jimmy World, doing a track by track of Futures, which is the album they're playing on Friday. So I just went full nostalgia emo really this week. But what else? No, nothing. That's it. Sorry. Andy,
It's good, mate.
yours.
It's all good. I don't think I mentioned it before, but I rewatched because I really enjoyed it. The Industry. I don't know if we've mentioned that before. So it's on BBC. It's a BBC HBO show, and it's about city bankers, and a couple of them who get a job there. The soundtrack to it is really, really good. And then the guy who wrote the soundtrack has made a YouTube playlist of about 300 influential songs. So there's everything from like Mac DeMarco, Boy Pablo, all really cool like indie stuff, all really good rock stuff, all really good rap stuff. So The Industry, and then if you find the soundtrack on YouTube, it's just this never-ending playlist. So really good show. It's a bit sickening because it's like city traders, kind of these people who get a job there as an intern and move up, and there's a lot of drugs and sex in it. So you know, if you're not into that, don't watch it. But it's very good. And then I think I mentioned it last week, that Hunting Ghislaine Maxwell podcast, really, really good. It's like 8 episodes. Listen to that. It's really interesting. Very sad at the same time. And then other than that, I listened to Loath's album non-stop this week. I forgot how good it is. So listen to Loath's album. I let it in and it took everything because I think it's probably the best metal record to come out of a UK band in a very long time. They're very good. They're a very important band. So Loathe, listen to that album. Brilliant.
Good shout. Great album.
One thing I did forget actually, I watched Back, which is on it's on 4OD. It's got Mitchell and Webb in, and it's written by one of the co-writers of Veep. Is that right?
You're right. I think it's Veep. Yeah, I think it's Veep.
Yeah, but I watched it based on that because Veep's really good. I love that, and I thought it might have been Armando Iannucci, but I'm not sure if it was. But it's got Mitchell and Webb in it. 2 seasons, really, really funny. I recommend that. Yeah, it's called Back.
I forgot one as well.
I haven't seen the second, but yeah. Armando Iannucci wrote Veep. But it was also the other guy that's in, because Veep is the American version of The Thick of It. If you haven't seen it. So I can't remember the guy's name. Chris something. Somebody answer that question for us. I think it's Chris something. Yeah, but yeah, Veep is very good. Yeah.
I forgot I had a YouTube channel to talk about as well. So the one I recommended ages ago about criminal psychology and sort of interview tactics and interrogation, I found another good crime one called That Chapter. It's an Irish guy called Mike. He talks about a crime all the way through, sort of breaks it down. Really, really interesting, really cool. But yeah, a lot of American stuff. You realize how many horrible murders there are in America when you watch it, but really, really good. They're like 10-minute long episodes, but yeah, he presents it in quite an interesting way as well. So That Chapter on YouTube.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're right at the end. All we've got left is the Vogue, right?
There's the Vogue. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a bit nervous about Vogue this week because we do essentially have a male model sitting down there.
Yeah, bottom
yes,
left.
Dan, I'm talking about you. Yeah. Who do you think I was talking about?
Put these over my ears or something.
Yeah, there we go. So what we do, Dan, is we pull a pose so that people watching can take a screenshot, tag us in it, and then share it on our socials. So anyone who's watching, if you want to take a photo of us, tag us, the NN Social, and our Facebook page now as well. Add it on there. So let's get our Vogue pose ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold your Vogue pose. So everyone take your screenshot now. And 3, 2, 1, unvogue. Excellent.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so I keep forgetting that we're on Facebook as well now. So share that picture or any tags and put it all over the fucking internet. Spread the word around Northampton, and just ruin the internet for everyone else, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Oh, it's been lovely coming on, guys. It's really good fun.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Yeah, I hope you
Thank you
keep
very much.
cracking on. Don't give up.
No. Where can people find out about you in the studio?
Hopefully they won't, but if they do, Scotland.
Google
First
Maps.
Cup Music Limited is my First Cup Music is my Instagram, so you find me there.
Awesome. Are there pictures of you on there?
Gear and some more gear, and if I got a dog, I'd put a dog picture up, but I don't have a dog yet. But
No, none of your face or anything.
not
no?
really. It's quite geekery, really. It's going to
I'm
be
not
boring.
going to follow it then. Don't worry about it. Just check
I
it.
wouldn't
I
really-
was asking for a mate. Someone in the comments was asking.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, don't care.
Forget about it. Yeah, it's all good. All good.
Yeah, I'm too old.
Just close your eyes, and every time you close your eyes, he'll be there in your heart, Andy. All right. So
Thank you very much, Dan. Seriously, thanks for coming on. And
pleasure,
thank you very
guys.
much.
Thank you
Thank you very much to Joel as well. 2 amazing performances. Thank you, Joel. We love you, Joel. But I guess until next week.
yeah, we'll see you
Bye.
next week on
Thanks,
YouTube
everybody.
and Facebook, 8 p.m. Bye, everybody.